What's up, everybody? Henry Cejudo here, aka Triple C, and you guys, welcome to this episode of Fight Feedback, where I will be breaking down none other than Khamzat Chimaev. A lot of people after YouTube sent me down there like saying, Henry, I think this guy is unstoppable. His wrestling, what are your two takes? What are your tips to defend a guy like Khamzat Chimaev? Well, I tell you what, guys, I'm an Olympic champ. I've been there before. I got 2 belts, so I know exactly how it is and what it is to break down Khamzat Chimaev. But I tell you what, guys, let's take it to the big screen first. So here we have Khamzat Chimaev versus Rhys McKee. Again, half through the punch, looking for the upper body here, and then watch. He'll get him against the cage and he'll start to mess with the legs, which he needed here, but something that Khamzat Chimaev does very well is he always stays above the body. It's a little different style than what Khabib would do. Khabib likes to be here to eventually come up top. He starts straight from the top to eventually break down his opponent. You see, he throws that right, throws that smoke right, covers distance with his feet to eventually body lock him. I think he does sometimes that stuff just to intimidate them. And look, he's constantly tripping on the legs. Eventually, look, you see what I'm saying? Throws that half punch, goes around the waist. And then if he doesn't get that initial takes, I know what he wants to do. Boom, half punch, walks his feet in, makes these guys think he's coming. But really what he wants is a takedown. Fall, boom. Goes upper body. And then he's just, it's intimidating. When you can have a guy just pick you up like that, throws that half punch, goes inside the body there, looking body locked right away. And here we have the Leech versus Khamzat. Right away. You see what I'm saying? Right away, breaking distance. This time he went, always going for the upper body. His preference, look, picks him up, shows that intimidation to Dana White. He's speaking to him to eventually doing his thing. Catchy top control, but this is a stuff that could also be scary, is the fact that Khamzat gives so much so early. Things like this. I know he's being a showman, but against a real top 5 contender who understands and has championship experience, same thing. You see how he gets you to throw, he baits you. That's one thing that he does have. He baits you to throw. Boom, through. The takedown came in, and now, his initial thing was to go to the legs. He had it right, but if it doesn't, he doesn't lose track. He goes upper body. He feels comfortable here. Same thing, peppers that jab and goes underneath. Does a really good job of covering that distance to eventually get it. Upper body, smokes it, breaks distance to the level change. Initial reaction was to go for the legs, loses the legs, goes up top to the upper body, and now he starts to work from there. So there's 2 options that Khamzat has. Number 1 option is to go to the legs. You see. Number 2 option, he gets defended, he's going above the body. And then from there, he's able to work. He'll play with the legs here. See, there he gets in the back. So that's a nice little breakdown that I have for Khamzat Chimaev and the Leech. Next, and here we have Khamzat versus Gilbert Burns. One of the most interesting matchups here because it was him against the top 5. See, right away what he does and what he'll do a good job. If you ain't throwing, he'll wait for you to throw to eventually go in for the takedown. But here, actually, the cage kind of helped Gilbert Burns quite a bit, because the more that he was on the cage, the more he made Khamzat struggle. You see, gets close enough, throws that right hand. That right hand's not to hurt him. That right hand's to get him in to those takedowns. Right now, he's looking to lift and dump him, but Gilbert's wrestling is legit too, though, for MMA. He's probably gonna be looking for that wrist, or he should. To eventually top control, and that's something that Chimaev likes a lot, man. He loves the waist, and he's been eating things. So he throws that right hand to eventually put himself in position. He just goes. Khabib tends to do the same thing. He'll just throw that right hand, or they'll throw punches just to get him closer to the legs. They ain't looking to hit you. They are not looking to hit you. Yep. Khamzat could probably knee people too here, man. It's something that he has to keep in mind too. There's ways of you damaging people with short little knees. Throws a right hand to bring his head to the outside. Double leg position, loses it, goes up top. Eventually they end up back to the legs, but I want to say he goes back to the body after this. Yep. Goes back to the waist. Right there, that's a mistake that he did. I'd be catching that wrist right away. Take the table out. Yep. And eventually he wants to stay upper body with Gilbert too, but he's in a good position there. Throws a right hand to get himself in, to penetrate, to eventually go upper body. If he doesn't catch the legs, his plan B is always go upper body, which I think he's more accustomed to that than actually going for the legs. Next, and here we have his most recent fight with Kevin Holland. This is a terrible match at number 1 for him. Notice how he throws that jab. He covers distance right away, and notice how he's following him too. Yep, goes to the waist, using the legs to eventually trip. He follows him like he's not too tight, he's not too loose. Penetrates right away. Like he finds that right distance, and it's not even a jab. It's what I call Lamborghini door. But look at how he follows him. He follows him because he's not too loose, nor he's not too tight. So he's able to still stay on him. Yep, trip into the legs. Follows him again. Stays upper body with him. And right away, this is what you don't want to do with Khamzat. As soon as he's in jab range, like Khamzat Chimaev, he's not going to strike with you. He's going to take you down. I love this about him though. Cartwheeled over, shows a little bit of his athleticism. Puts him against the cage. Boom. Breaks distance. Look, notice how he catches that angle right away. He's able to curve his body to eventually take him down as he follows. Kevin Holland was doing the right thing to get up, scramble. Look at this angle change. Boom. To able to get it. A fighter's not accustomed to that. Follows him, almost like a cartwheel spin. But his hands never come undone. And he's tight, but he's still tight and at the same time a little loose. You see? Follows him. Gets behind him. The penetration shot. I mean, that's all it is. What makes Chimaev dangerous is the simple fact that his entries are on point. His timing is on point because he gets aggressive. And there's nothing necessarily fancy or special about it. He just gets from here to your opponent right here, and he's going. He's not playing that striking game. He's looking at every position to get back to his grapple, even though he can strike, to eventually take you out. Anyhow, that's my breakdown of Khamzat Chimaev. Now let's take it to the whiteboard, what I would do if I was to fight like Khamzat Chimaev. So now the way that I would like to break down Khamzat Chimaev is what I call the 3 T's. The technique, the tactics, and the threshold. Real quick, let's go down. What techniques would I use to beat somebody like Khamzat Chimaev? A lot of the techniques would be roll throughs. Roll throughs are what they have in college wrestling. When somebody goes in there, takes you down, you're able to dive inside the leg to eventually find your way to get out. A lot of it too is not going off fours. So avoiding all fours. Which all fours is like in this position, because every time you're in this position, to him it's golden, because he's running those front headlock chokes from all those different positions. So whether it's a darce, arm triangle, whatever that may be, he's looking to submit you in those particular areas. So roll throughs going down the middle, avoiding the all fours. And again, it's going to be for the techniques, it would be you playing the distance game, winning the distance game with him. Making him frustrated, not allowing him to get too close to you. But that would probably fall more into where I'm going to go and get into the tactics. Into the tactics, I'm going to say you're going to have to start early and start fighting early with Khamzat, because if once he grabs a hold of you, that's when he's dangerous. So start the fight early. Excuse my French. You guys probably won't be able to read all that, but whatever. Start the fight early. Start the fight early in conjunctions of you playing the distance game. You have to frustrate him. You have to, man. So start the fight early, win the distance game, and you have to frustrate him, because the more you allow him, make him chase you, the more emotion is gonna come out. And that's one thing as a young fighter with the chip on his shoulder. That's when you can really invest in that fight if you do take that fight with Khamzat. And the last one is a threshold. When I talk about threshold, I talk about the gas tank. And I say is you have to drag the fight out. Drag the fight out of him. Even if he does take you down, if he does do all that other stuff, like you make him fight and make him earn every single takedown, because you do want to test this man in a 5-round fight. I think that's where you're gonna have better luck to it, because there's one thing that I did see a little skeptical with Khamzat, and that was with Kevin Holland. Even though he got rid of him in 2 minutes and 36 seconds, I remember watching his belly go as he had that front headlock, as he was getting ready to go for that dart. His belly was going up and down, up and down. His mouth started opening up. DC brought it up. A bunch of other people brought it up. So he needs to be careful here for Khamzat. But if you're a competitor, just to run it down, the techniques, I would go roll throughs if I do get taken down. I would avoid all fours, this position here, because he's looking for front headlocks. And for tactics is I would start the fight early. Win the distance. Like, the fight's not starting when you get hit. The fight, when you fight Khamzat Chimaev, the fight's already started. Win the damn distance game. And right here, and the third one is you gotta frustrate him. You gotta frustrate him, and you gotta make him just frustrate him, man. Get him off of his pattern, get him off of his rhythm. And for the threshold is you have to drag the fight out of him, make him earn everything. The more you make Khamzat work, the better it's gonna be for you. So if you're able to use all three of the techniques, the tactics, this is how you can have a better probability of beating somebody like Khamzat Chimaev. So again, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Fight Feedback with Henry Cejudo. Hope to see you guys soon, and we'll be breaking down and we'll be giving you guys fight feedback on somebody in the near future. I'm out! So thank you guys again for watching. It means a lot to me. So you guys remember, there's more breakdowns, there's more technique, there's more tactics, and there's definitely more cringe. So make sure to subscribe and click on that button. I'm out!